In the ever-evolving world of cybercrime, few stories are as captivating as that of how the FBI finally caught one of the most elusive hackers in history. His name was Kevin Mitnick, and for years, he was the most wanted hacker in the United States. Mitnick's story is one of ingenuity, cat-and-mouse evasion, and a battle of wits between one of the most resourceful criminals of the digital age and the law enforcement agencies trying to bring him down. What makes his capture so remarkable isn't just the scale of his hacking activities, it's the sheer sophistication behind them. For years, Mitnick evaded detection, eluding the FBI and a network of cybersecurity experts who were tirelessly working to catch him. Born in 1963, Kevin Mitnick was introduced to the world of hacking at a young age. Initially, he was drawn to phone systems, an area that would later become central to many of his most notorious hacks. Mitnick was known for his ability to manipulate the telephone system to his advantage, a skill that earned him the nickname Phone Freak. This skill set the stage for a series of increasingly audacious hacks that would span the globe. But Mitnick's true genius lay not just in his technical skills, it was in his ability to exploit human behavior, often bypassing even the most sophisticated security systems by manipulating people into unwittingly granting him access to sensitive information. In his early hacking days, Mitnick was a master of social engineering, the art of manipulating individuals to divulge confidential information. He didn't need to break into systems through brute force, he simply needed to manipulate people. Using tactics like impersonation and deception, Mitnick would convince employees at various companies to give him access to their systems. He would often pose as an IT technician or company executive, exploiting his knowledge of the companies he targeted to gain trust. Through this method, he could bypass security measures and gain access to networks, systems, and databases. Over time, his hacking skills grew, and he expanded his operations to infiltrate some of the biggest tech companies in the world, including IBM, Motorola, and Nokia. Mitnick's exploits didn't just involve hacking into systems, they also included stealing valuable proprietary information. For instance, he famously stole software and source code from major corporations, causing immense financial damage. He also had a penchant for accessing private communications, including emails, which allowed him to stay ahead of those trying to catch him. His ability to infiltrate even the most secure networks and the high-profile nature of his targets led the FBI to launch a nationwide manhunt for him. But Mitnick was not a run-of-the-mill hacker. He was extraordinarily careful. In many ways, his elusiveness was his greatest strength. He didn't just stay one step ahead of the FBI, he stayed multiple steps ahead. Mitnick was skilled at covering his tracks, using techniques like encryption, proxy servers, and disposable cell phones to avoid detection. But perhaps his greatest weapon was his ability to anticipate how law enforcement would think. By the time the FBI was on his trail, Mitnick had already moved to a new identity, in a new location, and had erased any trace of his digital footprint. His knowledge of the FBI's tactics and his ability to evade capture for years made him a figure of legend in the cybercrime world. However, Mitnick's downfall came in the mid-1990s, when the FBI finally closed in on him. At the heart of the investigation was a series of breakthrough moments, one of which involved a strategy that Mitnick himself had used to stay hidden: his overconfidence. Despite his careful planning, Mitnick had underestimated the persistence of the FBI and the emerging capabilities of cybersecurity professionals. While Mitnick was focused on his next target, a dedicated group of FBI agents had begun to connect the dots and trace his activities. The FBI had also enlisted the help of a new breed of digital forensics experts, who were able to analyze Mitnick's methods and track his movements through the very systems he had infiltrated. It wasn't just the FBI's advanced technology that helped them finally capture Mitnick, it was the persistence of a team of agents who refused to give up. Special Agent Bonnie, who worked tirelessly on the case, became one of the key figures in bringing Mitnick to justice. The FBI had been investigating Mitnick for years, but as with many cybercrime cases, the complexity of the digital evidence made it difficult to pin him down. However, Agent Bonnie and her team had a breakthrough when they realized that Mitnick was still making mistakes. He couldn't resist the urge to boast about his exploits, and through careful surveillance, they found traces of him on a message board where he was bragging about his hacks. This misstep would prove to be the key that led to his capture. As the FBI honed in on Mitnick's location, they coordinated an operation to catch him in the act. Mitnick had been using a cell phone to stay in contact with his associates, and it was through this phone that they were finally able to pinpoint his exact location. On February 15, 1995, the FBI arrested Kevin Mitnick in Raleigh, North Carolina. The arrest was dramatic. Mitnick was surrounded by agents as he tried to erase any remaining traces of his digital activities. It was a fitting end to the cat-and-mouse game that had lasted for years. At the time of his arrest, Mitnick had been on the run for over 2.5 years, and his capture was seen as a major victory for the FBI. But the story didn't end there. After his arrest, Mitnick faced serious charges, including wire fraud, computer fraud, and the theft of corporate secrets. He was charged with breaking into over 40 systems, including those of major corporations like Motorola, Nokia, and even the U.S. Department of Defense. The prosecution sought a lengthy sentence, and Mitnick's case became a landmark moment in the history of cybercrime. At the time, there was little precedent for how to handle such cases, and Mitnick's trial helped shape the legal framework for future cybercrime cases. In 1999, Mitnick struck a deal with the FBI and pled guilty to several charges in exchange for a reduced sentence. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, a term that was later reduced for good behavior. Despite the severity of his crimes, Mitnick's case was a turning point in the way the FBI and other law enforcement agencies approach cybercrime. His capture and conviction set the stage for the modern era of cybersecurity, where hackers are prosecuted more aggressively, and the need for advanced digital forensics is more crucial than ever. In the years following his release from prison, Mitnick underwent a remarkable transformation. No longer the hacker he once was, he became a sought-after consultant and speaker, sharing his expertise in cybersecurity and helping businesses protect themselves from the very threats he once represented. Mitnick wrote several books on the subject, including The Art of Deception and The Art of Intrusion, in which he outlined the methods hackers use to exploit vulnerabilities in security systems and offered advice on how to prevent these attacks. He became a respected figure in the cybersecurity industry, using his past experience to educate others about the dangers of cybercrime and the importance of vigilance in an increasingly digital world. Today, Kevin Mitnick's story is one of redemption, a tale of a once elusive hacker who turned his life around and became a valuable resource in the fight against cybercrime. His capture by the FBI serves as a powerful reminder of the ever-present threat of digital crime and the need for constant innovation in cybersecurity. It also highlights the relentless persistence of law enforcement in bringing criminals to justice, even when those criminals seem impossible to catch. The story of how the FBI caught Kevin Mitnick is not just about technology and hacking. It's about the human element, the drive, the ingenuity, and the determination of both the criminal and those who seek to stop them. It's a story of cat and mouse, of evolution and adaptation, and ultimately, of justice served. Mitnick's case is a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks they can outwit the law. While hacking may be a sophisticated and ever-evolving crime, it is no match for the dedication and persistence of those who are committed to stopping it. Kevin Mitnick may have been one of the most elusive hackers of all time, but in the end, even he couldn't outrun the relentless pursuit of the FBI. His story is a testament to the importance of vigilance, collaboration, and the need for constant adaptation in the world of cybersecurity.